Welcome to our workshop. Actually, this isn't our workshop, this is my living room. I've got this large sofa here I need to repair, but I've got too many projects in the shop to bring it in. You might recognize this environment if you're familiar with our other channel, Home Improvement Woodworking. This is a fireplace that I built in one of the videos. This mid-century modern inspired sofa needs some repair work. It's made of oak, so it's not exactly mid-century, but it's certainly inspired that way by the design. The back legs are splayed on it, and they become loose over time. So my project here is to take those apart, clean up the joint, and put it back together again to get this couch in working order. I'll show you how.
As a furniture repair business, we're opening the doors to our workshop to show you the tools and techniques to repair furniture.
What I need to do is take that apart, repair it, and put it back together so I can get this chair in working order.
We give you tips to make your repair projects easier. Let's get into the workshop and start fixing furniture.
With this sofa now turned upside down, you can see the leg here and where the joint has come apart. I'll also point out the staircase in the background. We've got a series of videos on Home Improvement Woodworking on how to renovate your staircase to look like that. I'm going to take this apart and we'll take a look at what the joint looks like. So we'll start by pulling the leg, and there is some wiggling going on here, but it's going to take a bit of pressure to get it apart. I use wedges like this to gently put in each side of the part here. I need this thin one over here. And what that does is just provides a little bit of leverage to be able to wiggle more. So you can see I've opened it up here, and I just progressively move these wedges. It doesn't look like that bottom one's doing a whole lot, but as I move this up and down, I can progressively get that wedge in more. You can hear it separating. And I've got larger wedges here I can use as well. There, it's apart. Just like other repairs that I've shown you, you need to make sure that all these parts here are clear of glue and old finish. So here on the dowels and the holes, also known as mortise and tenons, they need to be clear of any of that old glue. I've also got some old glue in this area here and some finish, so I need to clean that off because wood glue will only stick bare wood to bare wood. These are all the tools needed to clean everything up. So for the dowels here, I'm going to be using sandpaper. For the mortises, I'm going to be using drill bits and the drill. To clean off the flat areas, I'm going to be using a paint scraper and might need a chisel as well. And every time I use my chisel, I hone it to make sure it's sharp. And then to glue it together, an artist brush to spread the glue and the end of the brush to get them in the mortises, good quality glue, and a clamp. I'm using 120 grit sandpaper. Just fold it in half and then go around the dowels to get all that glue off. It's fairly light glue, so it's not going to take very long to clean that off, but basically you want to get rid of all that residue so we've got nothing but bare wood. If I take a plastic bag and loop it around the side here, I'll just protect the fabric from getting dirty. Now to clean up the mortises, I've got a 1/2 inch bit here, and you can see it's just a little bit tight. So when I put this in the drill, I'm not going to run it forwards. I might do some damage. Run it backwards, get it to the bottom of the hole, and then run it forwards to clean out the glue. So there I'm at the bottom. Turn it forwards. And that's it. Again, backwards. And then forwards. See that glue that came out? That's what we're looking for. So to clean off the joint here, I use a paint scraper, and I use that for most of it to clean off these globs of glue and some of that finish, just like this. And then in these small areas here, I use the chisel to clean it out. And here you can see there's finish on this surface here, similar to the side. That needs to come off to make sure I've got a good glue joint. So the paint scraper comes in handy for that as well. Here's a bit of finish left. I've scraped all this here, so you can see how clean that surface is. If you leave finish on, glue won't stick. So this is a good gluing surface here. Make sure you make the most of it by cleaning it all off. The last piece of cleanup work requires a chisel. And what I do every time I use my chisel is I hone it. So put it at the right angle here and pull it back about 30 times. And what that does is it polishes that leading edge and gives you a razor sharp chisel. It makes work much, much easier than if you're trying to do it with a dull chisel. So once you've gone over it 30 times, it's a matter of pulling it back once, and then you've got a really sharp chisel. Let's see if I can catch it in the light there. There you go. So what I'm doing with the chisel here is just cleaning up around the dowels, making sure I've got a nice clean edge and there isn't something there that would prevent the joint from snugly fitting together. The other aspect is at the end of the dowels, there's usually glue. Just breaking that off so that doesn't prevent anything from touching the bottom of the joint. The last step now is just to do a dry fit and making sure you've got a clamping strategy. If I clamp this on here, these rubber pads on quick grip clamps really are forgiving, so you've got a little bit of an odd angle. You can still clamp, still grip. So there's nothing better than these clamps as far as I'm concerned for doing furniture repairs. I'll leave a link in the video description. I'll show you my glue up process. First thing I do is put glue in the mortises, squeeze some in there, let it drip down just a little bit, and then use the back of the artist brush to go around in circles. And what that does is it coats every surface inside that mortise with glue. So you can see the glue here. It's just a matter of rolling it around. And it's really important to get glue on all the surfaces, because where you don't get glue, it won't stick. So the second part then is these dowels or the tenons, covering them with glue on all surfaces. And it's okay if you get a little bit extra glue on these, because it will squeeze out. And glue squeeze out is actually a good thing, not a bad thing, because it tells you you've got enough glue in that joint. So I just spread this around. So I want to make sure there's nothing that I've missed. There's no point in putting glue on the end of the dowels because they won't be touching anything. Okay, so I've now got them all coated. The last thing then are the flat surfaces. Making sure I've got glue on all of those, because when these surfaces mate, I want them to be as strong as possible. That's the reason that I use an artist brush as I go through this gluing process. If you use your finger, you could be putting oils in that glue, which would weaken the glue, so that's not good. And by making sure you're putting it on the whole surface, you're maximizing that glue surface. So don't skimp on the glue. You've done all that work. make sure it's going to stick. Now, the ideal amount of glue that you've got on this is just enough that when you apply clamping pressure, it's going to squeeze out. Okay, so all set to go here. I'm going to wipe this off so you can actually see that glue coming out. And this is water-based glue, so don't worry about it getting on things. Okay, so that's most of the way home. And then I apply the clamp, and that'll drive it home the rest of the way. And that is a nice tight repair. This sofa is now ready to use, and this leg is rock solid. We're building a supportive community to teach people about how to repair furniture. Please help us by sharing this with your friends and family. Thanks for watching Fixing Furniture.